Hey guys, we are back for the next segment of Mount Ararat Podcast, episode 13. We're talking about night 2 from Korakuen Hall, May 5th. We're going to jump right into it. Again, bear with me, guys, if you're I'm separating these segments also on YouTube, so people want to watch certain segments and not others or what have you. So if you're starting with this segment by chance or only watching this segment, I haven't felt well for a week. I feel like it's reflecting and how I'm reviewing these shows, and I apologize, but I am doing my best to at least get them out there. Okay? I'll be back to my regular self surely by next week. Match 1 from night 2, May 5th from Korakuen Hall was Slex versus Kenya Okada. Again, Slex coming in here as a gaijin, looking hot, looking on fire. He did lose his last match from the 4th. In a tag team matchup, he was pinned by Kengo. Here, he is back in the winner's circle as he beats Kenya Okada. One of the best parts of this match was actually when Kenya Okada got Slex's sunglasses, put them on, and wrestled with them on. I mean, normally Okada is not flashy or showy in any way, shape, or form, so to see him do something like that was quite amusing and interesting. But it didn't do anything for him, other than give him the experience of wrestling a very good gaijin in Slex. Slex gets the win in about 6.5 minutes with the business bomb. Slex is now departing Noah. He will be back at a later date, I'm sure. This was an awful short run for these gaijins, in my opinion. But at least they got their experience and got their time in, and hopefully we see a lot more Slex. Good opening matchup. Good work by Okada, but not enough to win the match, of course. Slex, your winner. Match 2 from night 2, May 5th from Korakuen Hall was the Noah Jr. regulars, Kotogi and Howe, taking on the now no longer with Pro Wrestling Noah, Paris de Mal de Japon, Takano Jr. and Super Crazy. Once again, guys, the theme here was Takano Jr. Again, it's sad that he had to be part of the group that left the company because this guy was on his way to the top. He controls Kotogi and Howe here, especially Howe, really, meaning Takano Jr., wins the match. Not a lot to talk about because these guys aren't here anymore. It was a 9-minute match, so, Howe and Kotogi put up a hell of a fight. But Takano Jr. is not to be messed with. He wins the matchup for him and Super Crazy. And there's no reason to go on and on about it because Paris de Mal isn't part of Noah anymore. Hopefully, Howe and Kotogi can move forward here and get a win because they need one after this loss. That's for sure. Next up was Kengo, that meaning Kazuchika, Nakajima, and Hirooki. And again, I complained about this when I previewed this on the last Mount Ararat podcast, episode 12, because I just feel like Nakajima, he's fallen down the card. Now he is early in the show, teaming with one of his juniors, who has been on a losing streak and just doesn't seem altogether with it since losing his hair to Howe, against the Funky Express, who haven't done anything in weeks. We're talking about King Tani and Muhammad Yone, and Sting stayed the same here. If there's one thing I'll say is that Yone deserves better than this tag team. Yone is damn good. Yone is strong. Yone is legit. Now, yes, you see that big afro and you think, who's this guy, right? If you're new to Noah, you're going to see this guy and think, okay. But trust me, this guy is as legit as they come. And he showed us that in this matchup. King Tani, again, I feel has been holding this team down. Something seems to be missing with him. He's a big, strong guy as well, but is often on the losing end for this team. And boy, did Nakajima need a win here. Thankfully, he gets it with a vertical spike on King Tani in about just shy of the 9-minute mark. And that's not going to set the world on fire. And it was actually overshadowed by something going on between Tani and Yone. We weren't exactly sure what it was during this matchup, but there was clearly something. I'm not talking a fight, but there was some kind of conversation. They shook hands after their loss and walked out. But you really felt like there was some communication going on there, and there was. Comes to find out that King Tani has told Muhammad Yone here that he was done with the Funky Express, that he was done being King Tani, and that he was going to go back to who he once was. And I got to look at my notes here to remember what that name was. Shuhei Taniguchi, which I have watched Noah over the years, okay? I watched it regularly for some time. I lost the ability to find the matches. I stopped watching it because I couldn't watch it. And I do remember Taniguchi. I do remember we had like a giant mariner fork or something, which some fans are calling him to bring that back. I'm not looking forward to that goofiness if that's what he does. But the Funky Express is no more. It's now Muhammad Yone on his own. I mean, I don't know what's up with the team. They do have the third member, right? But I think the Funky Express is done. King Tani going back to Shuhei Taniguchi. Again, got to get with Hisami or somebody to teach me how to say that first name. And they overshadowed Nakajima getting a win for the first time in what feels like forever. But this was interesting. Very good to see Kongo get a win, but interested to see what Taniguchi can do going forward from here. Match 4 from night 2 from Korakuen Hall, May 5th, was Stinger, being Hayata, Seki Yoshioka, and Yu Susumu. Now that's interesting. Does that mean Hayata is siding with them in their battle against Ridgeway and Ogawa? We'll have to see. And Stinger here took on Kai Fujimura, Dragon Bane, Alpha Wolf, Extreme Tiger, and Alejandro. I feel like I'm missing somebody there. Stinger, Hayata, Seki Yoshioka, and Yu Susumu, and Kai Fujimura against Dragon Bane, Alpha Wolf, Extreme Tiger, and Alejandro. Alejandro really stuck out here. Alejandro, the least experienced. Alejandro, the young guy. I'm sorry, not Alejandro. Again, guys, this is still recovering from whatever I had is messing me up. It's messing me up. I apologize. Alejandro did fine, but sticking out here was Kai Fujimura, the youngest guy out of everybody in this match, really was the star of this match. He really looked solid, even though he ate the pin at around the 9-minute mark from Dragon Bane. Look, my opinion is Dragon Bane, Alpha Wolf, Extreme Tiger are very good, but I really would have liked to have seen all of them in some more singles matches. It seems like almost every time they were out here for Pro Wrestling Noah, it was a 6-man, 8-man tag team matchup. Nothing wrong with that. This match was fine. And again, Kai Fujimura takes the loss, but really looked good, really showed that he could hang with all of these guys, which is impressive. I'm excited to see Fujimura and Alejandro get back together as a tag team. I want to see that. They were on pace to look like they were headed for a junior championship shot eventually if they kept things up. So I want to see them get back together. This was the last night on the tour for the Gaijins, for Dragon Bane, Alpha Wolf. I think Extreme Tiger's probably staying because he's going to get a junior title shot. And that's what happened at the end of this matchup. Again, Dragon Bane and his guys win the matchup. Extreme Tiger challenges Hayata for the junior title. Hayata comes in, holds the title in Extreme Tiger's face, basically confirming that they will have this matchup. So that's going to be interesting. The 5th match of the Night 2 show from Korakuen Hall on May 5th was Marafuji teaming with Yohei and Ninja Mac to take on Kongo, that being Keno, Tadasuke, and Hajime Ohara. Now, one of the best parts of this, honestly, wasn't the wrestling, as good as that was, don't get me wrong, but Marafuji, Yohei, and Ninja Mac did a pre-match pose that rivaled Kongo, and boy, did that piss Keno off. He felt like they were mocking him, but they weren't. I don't feel that they were. They just came in together and did this cool ninja-style pose as they prepared to wrestle this match, and that lit Keno on fire and caused a huge fight at the start of the match, which was great. It was a great way to just start this fired-up matchup off. Ninja Mac was in a lot of this match because, to me, Marafuji and Pro Wrestling Noah wants to take an even better look at him. They realize that the fans have embraced him greatly. They realize that his style and his look really suit this company. I'm glad that they announced after this matchup that Ninja Mac has signed a 1-year Gaijin deal, meaning he will come back to Noah frequently throughout a year. Here, it was a very solid matchup. Ninja Mac wins it with a ninja bomb on Tadasuke at about the 12-minute mark. It pushed almost 13 minutes, and it was just enjoyable. This was a very good 6-man tag team matchup. Again, my boys from Kongo greatly struggling, and they lose the matchup here, but it was to Noah's newest star by far. Ninja Max on his way to big things. Marafuji can't wait to have him back and says he wants to see him with a title. So good things coming up in Pro Wrestling Noah from Ninja Mac, no doubt about it. Match 6 from night 2 at Korakuen Hall, May 5th, was a hoss fight, was a Bull of the Woods fight, as I like to call them, mimicking Dusty Rhodes, if you will. Manabu Soya taking on Michael Elgin. Now, this stemmed from the match from the night before, where Elgin pinned Nakajima, and Manabu Soya got in his face, and they squared up. So here we had a singles matchup, and this was what you would expect. It was two big guys battering each other back and forth for about 9 minutes. Now, I felt like Michael Elgin pretty much controlled this match. At one point, Michael Elgin press slammed Manabu Soya. How can you not be impressed by something like that? I think from that point on, Manabu Soya wasn't the same. He knew he was being controlled by this gaijin. He knew that it was going to be a struggle to even compete against Michael Elgin, let alone defeat him. And the man, Michael Elgin, who has come into pro wrestling, Noah, like few others, he and Ninja Mac are the gaijin stars here, no doubt whatsoever. He gets the big win, hitting the Elgin bomb on Manabu Soya just shy of the 9-minute mark. Excellent matchup. I can't wait to see Elgin and how far he goes in Noah. I hope it's far. He just fits here. He works here. He is pro wrestling Noah. And this was a great matchup. One of my favorites of the night. Simple, but it's the kind of match I can really get into if done well. And this was done great. Big win for Michael Elgin. Match 7. Simon Gotch and Stinger, that being Yoshinura Ogawa and Chris Ridgeway. And what a team this is. I mean, Simon Gotch, Ogawa, and Ridgeway. Brutal. Against Kaito Kiyomiya and the Noah Jr. regulars being Daisuke Harada and Junta Miyawaki. Now, that's a great team, too. Kiyomiya is awesome. Daisuke Harada is one of the greatest juniors in the world. And Miyawaki, he's the weak link here. He's the young guy, and that's just a simple case of the truth. Kiyomiya coming in looking good, looking strong with that big win over Ninja Mac, and you could tell he was motivated here. But I'm telling you, Gotch and Ogawa and Ridgeway are just on another. They just, I almost feel like you got to put Gotch in Stinger. I mean, he fits them extremely well. Fights like them, and this is if I could hand pick a 6-man team, Gotch, Ogawa, and Ridgeway would be a pretty damn good one, and they were a pretty damn good one here, getting the win. Now, of course, they focused on Miyawaki. Of course you're going to. If you've got one of the best heavyweights in Kiyomiya in there and one of the best juniors in there in Harada, you're going to focus on the younger guy, and that's what happened. Miyawaki loses as Chris Ridgeway hits him with a packaged German suplex hold at about the 8-minute mark. So it was a little bit of a short matchup, but it was very interesting and a fun matchup. Afterwards, Susumu and Yoshioka hits the ring and attack Ogawa and Ridgeway. I mean, good Lord, Ogawa took that buzzsaw kick so hard it knocked him out completely. I mean, it was just, this is no joke. Stinger is really, they treasure those junior belts so much that they're willing to just hurt each other over them. They're willing to do whatever. Simon Gotch tried to help his partners, but there's only so much he could do, and his partners got taken out, especially Ogawa. I mean, to see a man like Ogawa laying face first flat on the canvas out was just mind-blowing. And I'm telling you, that's a hell of a thing to give Yoshioka and Susumu, to give them that kind of presence, to give them to say, hey, we're going to come in here and we're going to knock one of the biggest stars in the company out. That says you better take these guys serious as they challenge for these junior belts. And you need that because Ridgeway and Ogawa was a hell of a team, and you can't help but ask yourself, who's going to beat these guys? Well, I'm telling you what, Pro Wrestling Noah is making it look like Susumu and Yoshioka are as legit as they come here. And this was almost more entertaining than the match. It was short, but boy, are they really feeding into this junior tag match coming up. And it's working wonders, in my opinion. Great stuff. Match 8 was a wonderful opportunity for a young guy like Yoshiki Inumira, because Inumira was challenged by Satoshi Kojima. Now, Satoshi Kojima has new life as he comes into Pro Wrestling Noah, the top challenger to Go Shiozuki's GHC Heavyweight Championship. I mean, Kojima is being wasted in New Japan. He's just over there wrestling dad matches that nobody really cares about. And here he comes in to show that it says he's in his prime. And he proves that here, taking on a guy like Yoshiki Inumira. Inumira is no joke. Inumira is one of the toughest, badass guys in all of pro wrestling, and especially Pro Wrestling Noah. Now, yes, he doesn't get a lot of wins at this point, but he's just a beast. He is just a monster. He flips tractor tires as if they're, nothing. Tosses them around like crazy. Is definitely unbelievably strong. And could definitely, if Kojima was to be believed, as he's been presented over the years, as some softer dad who has to take it easy, Inumira could have easily broken him, hurt him, taken him out. That isn't what happened here. Kojima comes in here, nails his lariats, nails his power moves, goes one-on-one with a beast of a young guy like Inumira, and shows that he is to be taken seriously. And he says he's thinking about Goji Ozaki 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And that Goji Ozaki is going to have to think about him 48 hours. He's going to have to stay awake 48 hours straight, focusing on Kojima to be able to overcome him, because he says he's in his prime and that he's ready to go. And that's what I love about this. Kojima is in his prime. He says he shouldn't be on the downward spiral part of his career where he's taking it easy and getting simple little matches nobody cares about. He should be getting matches like this, and this is what Pro Wrestling Noah is great at, recognizing that these guys, the older guys, are better than they're given credit for and can lead main events and not be stuck in opening matches and pointless matches. Now, Inumira doesn't really deserve that either, but he's got plenty of time to catch up to Kojima and become a star himself, and you will see that, and Kojima knows that, and that's why he challenged him in this matchup. About 8 minutes long, like I said, Kojima gets the big win with his lariat and shows that he is legit as they come. The main event from the second show from Korakuen Hall from Pro Wrestling Noah was Goji Ozaki teaming with Masato Tanaka, Masa Kitamiya, and Daiki Inaba as they took on the Segura Army, and that being Takashi Segura, Hideki Suzuki, Rene Dupree, and El Hijo del Dr. Wagner Jr., the new GHC Tag Team Champions. Now, I predicted in Mount Ararat Podcast episode 12 that there might be some friction between the Segura Army team, because the night before they were wrestling each other for the GHC Heavyweight Tag Team Championship. And I believe I said I would apologize if that wasn't the case, so I apologize. There was no tension. There was no issues between these four at all. Segura, Suzuki, Dupree, and Wagner Jr. wrestled wonderfully. They looked good. I mean, we're talking the former tag champs and the new tag champs working together wonderfully. I mean, the Segura Army takes things seriously. They can challenge each other without being ridiculous, the way Stinger is, attacking each other relentlessly, and come back and wrestle a great match against the GHC heavyweight champion and his partners Tanaka, Kitamiya, and Inaba. My favorite part of this was Masa Kitamiya got to be the star of this. Too often, Masa Kitamiya is seen as just the strong guy who's there to shake things off and bump chests and sort of be this tough guy. Here, he got to wrestle, and he got to look good doing it, and he got to look great against the current tag team champions, to the point that he gets the win. He gets that prison lock on Dr. Wagner Jr., okay, the new one half of the new tag team champions, and makes him give up. I mean, he makes him submit, and he and Elgin are coming for those titles, and if you don't think they can win them, this was a pure example that they absolutely could. Now, we had some more fun in this match. The Bullet Yankees faced off against each other. Tanaka and Segura really nailing each other. They sort of reminded me of Stinger guys going at it, friends that actually challenge each other to a point where they could actually hurt one another. They're telling each other to hit each other, to punch each other, screaming at each other. That was a very good part of this match. But again, my favorite part was the fact that I think Kitamiya is underutilized. I think Kitamiya is a star. And you team him with someone like Elgin. And I don't want to jump into my previews way too ahead of time, but if Elgin and Kitamiya don't end up with these titles, but I felt the same way about Kengo and Nakajima, and they didn't end up with them. So, well, you never know in pro wrestling, know what's going to happen, but I love this team. I love wrestlers like this, Kitamiya and Elgin, and I love that Kitamiya got to be the star and get the win here in a big way, and Elgin joined them afterwards, basically. officially confronting the tag team champions and telling them they're coming after their titles. And we're going to see that match coming up on May 21st. And that's a huge card. May 21st is a gigantic card for Pro Wrestling Noah. And we'll be previewing that along with another one coming up right after this.